Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast between me and FungiCap here on Scrap Station. This is going to be a Protoss versus Protoss mirror match here on Scrap Station. We have Fungi spawning over here at the 3 o'clock position. Meanwhile, I am spawning as the red Protoss player over here at the 12 o'clock position. Now, a lot of you guys have seen some Protoss mirrors, and this is just going to be one of those games where I wanted to highlight it, show some good usage of some early units, and then I'll get to the more exciting games. I think I may do a dedication to the Sentry today. I played a lot of games with Gifted from StarCraft Legacy. It was just a lot of fun games, a lot of 2v2s, a lot of action, a lot of messing around, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Right now, we already have me trying to set down this early pylon. Generally what I want to do with this early pylon is I want to make sure that it's not so far away from my base that my probe loses significant mining time. Although it does not allow me to set up gateways right near my ramp, it does allow me to get a little bit of an economic boost. At the same time, we see FungiCap already trying to do a very early scouting. Now, taking a look at this, the early scouting, all it will let you do is prevent any cheese. Already taking a look at the income, the amount of resources that we've spent. The income is already higher by 14 to 12 in terms of the army, and then in the spending, I've already spent an additional 100, so that just goes to show you how much I have in terms of a little bit of a lead. Now I am finally sending out my probe as well. Gonna go ahead and try to get a good look at everything that's happening. Taking a look at FungiCap space, we have a single gateway with dual pylon, and then the next building is either going to be, if he tries to drop down a secondary gateway, that means that he's going to be going for a little bit of an early rush, and we see that in fact FungiCap is going for that secondary gateway. So as soon as you see the secondary gateway coming in again from a Protoss versus Protoss mirror match, that means he wants to try to get more zealots than you during that early rush. So how you counter that is you're going to be forced to try to get an additional gateway yourself. Also, you can try to get some early sentries, but sentries on this particular map, because the ramp is so large and because I was unable to build my gateway close enough, it's going to be hard for me to guard off this choke point. Cybernetics core finally going down, gonna try to take down that one particular probe. Probe now finally moving out of my base as I go ahead and run this zealot out to make sure that there's no incoming units. Taking a look back over here, we already have the secondary gateway in, and now a pylon, so double gateway with no cybernetics core. That means that there's going to be late sentries and perhaps no stalkers. So all I can really count on is that my sentries will in fact be able to help me hold off any attacks. Those sentries, getting my units mixed up. Sentries are not that useful of a unit in the Protoss mirror match, because those stalkers are not a very useful unit in a Protoss mirror match, because the stalker only deals damage against armored units. If your opponent has if it's a 4 zealot fight versus 4 stalker fight, unless the stalkers are microed to the max, you are not going to be able to win that fight, as those zealots are going to be dealing 16 damage per swipe as opposed to the stalkers 8. Now, as soon as you add in the sentries and you try to add in a little bit of more map positioning, that can change if you can get those zealots perhaps stuck so that only 2 of them are engaging at a time. Already we have FungiCap dropping down a forge. Perhaps he wants to try to do some early upgrades and now dropping down an additional pylon. So triple gateway right here and queuing up a fair number of zealots all around. Coming back over here, I am trying to drop down a proxy pylon in order to be able to warp in units fairly quickly. So this pylon on this high ground is not going to be easily spotted, and I can warp in units right in this position, allowing me to get a pretty strong advantage. Taking a look at this, I'm warping in my sentries a little bit earlier as I want to get the sentries with that force field energy. The more energy, the stronger those units are in fact going to be. Taking a look at the income, FungiCap now catching up 23 harvesters to my 22. And I'm slowing down my probe building for just a little while in order to be able to produce additional zealots. Already coming in here, because of my proxy pylon, I'm able to see a very large number of zealots coming across into my base. I'm going to go ahead and move that zealot back, as I know that those 9 zealots will be able to take down my 1 zealot fairly easily without any issues. So coming over here, I'm now trying to warp these all into warp gates, as I know I can get just enough time to use these all as warp gates and then warp into some stalkers for a little bit of that positioning, as I know that all of my zealots would not be in fact be able to engage. In come those those zealots. Those zealots on that backhand side would be forced to just run around, not being able, and they're getting stuck. So that's really what I want to happen. I want those units to get stuck. But now we have a number of 5 zealots trying to fight back 3 sentries and 2 stalkers. So just trying to micro my units back here, trying to get those stalkers to take the brunt of that damage, as the stalkers have more hit points than those sentries, double that hit points, and now able to take down that last zealot. So my 3 sentries are still in play. Taking a look at them, each of them has a fair amount of energy, 120 energy, 70, and then 25. So I in fact will be able to warp in, or get a number of units. Gonna go ahead and warp in these zealots over here. Gonna wait for the cooldown over here. So I have that cooldown done. I'm gonna go ahead and warp in more units right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and have 8 zealots before I even turn back in. FungiCap now trying to move in some zealots as well. Gonna move 6 zealots and try to take down these destructible rocks. I, however, have a fair number of zealots and those sentries, so those sentries will be able to cast those force fields and just try to position myself off in a better position. Probe now gonna get exposed a little bit, gonna get quickly taken down, as my zealots are now gonna try to come up here to engage. I realize I'm gonna get flanked a little bit, so I'm gonna try to come back, and those stalkers trying to come in and trying to engage as well. I have a single observer, those zealots now trying to once again warp back in. I warp in some additional stalkers, as I want to be able to shoot up that ramp. The stalkers are there more for a ranged attack than anything else. Stalkers now coming back in now with that range attack. Now go ahead and shoot them off, and then I cast 2 force fields, so those zealots are unable to really engage. I'm going to go ahead and try to focus down this pylon, and perhaps be able to take down some of these buildings. Cast another force field over there, so they're going to have to be coming at me in a single file line, which is exactly what I want. Those zealots all getting stuck right there, and now trapping them so that they have nowhere to go. More stalkers being warped in from that backhand side, but that's going to be too little, too late. As you can already tell, the army positioning was just such a large difference. Casting that Guardian Shield now to be able to protect my zealots even further, and FungiCap is going to call GG. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and I hope you guys enjoyed this game here on Scrap Station. I hope to see you guys on Battle.net. And yeah, stay tuned for additional replays. I promise to cast some more exciting replays later today and upload them as well.